everybody. Have you ever had a conversation that literally changed the course of your life? Hi, my name is Kelly. I'm a pastor, police chaplain, marriage coach, and author of this book, Turn It Up, How to Have the Lifelong Marriage That You Really Want. And I will never forget the day my wife came to me and we had a conversation that changed our marriage. Yeah, I'll never forget. We were married about maybe 5 years or so. We had two kids. I was serving and very successful in my role as an assistant pastor at a large growing church in the Los Angeles area, just doing great things for God. I thought everything was great. I thought our family was good. And, one day I remember my wife, beautiful wife, Carrie, pulled me aside. Actually, we were driving home from someplace and we pulled into the driveway. And in the car, she said, "I need to tell you something. I'm not happy." And I was shocked. I was like, "What do you mean you're not happy? What's wrong?" "Well, I'm not happy with how things are going in our marriage." And she basically said she wanted more. She used these words, which I thought was really indicative of what was going on in her heart at the time. It was more than just not feeling loved by me, although that was part of it. But she used this phrase, "I don't feel special to you." What does that mean? What do you mean you don't feel special? And I responded with, "Well, I do love you." And then I remember talking about all of the stuff I did around the house as if I was earning brownie points. I even mentioned, I'll never, this is one of the fun things. I don't remember exactly what she said, but I do remember exactly what I said in response. And I said, "Well, I do all kinds of stuff to show you I love you. I even take out the trash." I remember mentioning that. And she looked at me and she's just like, "No, that's not it. That's not very romantic. That's not what I want." And so she could tell that I wasn't understanding. And so she gave me some very, very specific suggestions. And three of them I remember. And then to this day, I still do these three things. One, as she said, is "I love it when you're home with us." Okay, in other words, and I've since learned that one of her love languages is time. She loves the time that I spend with her and with the kids. And so I really had to make some significant adjustments in how I was managing my time. And when I was home, I needed to plug in and be home. But that was one of the things she said is, "I want your time." The other thing is just because gives. And I said, "Well, what's a just because gift?" Because I grew up in a home where we only gave gifts to each other on special occasions, like your birthday or Christmas or Mother's Day. And so it was kind of expected that, we gave gifts to each other on those days. But then the rest of the year, you really didn't do that. And so she said, "A just because gift, don't spend a lot of money. It's not about the money, but it's about the thought. If you're at Target or Walmart and you see something that I might like, like a pair of earrings or whatever, you pick it up and you bring it home and it'd be like, 'Hey, I was just thinking about you and I saw this.'" She said the other thing that you could do is notes. Now, this was back in this was 30 years ago. So we didn't have texting and we didn't have email and some of those things. But today it's you send a text or you write a quick little note in an email. "Honey, I just want to let you know how much I appreciate you." But anyways, those are the three suggestions I remember she gave me. Is that she said, spend more time and really be there with us, be present when you're present. And then just because gifts, which are just, "Hey, I just want to let you know that I love you. This is just because." And then the third thing she suggested was, notes or little reminders or things that you could do. So when I'm out of town, I'll obviously, call her. Sometimes I'll send her a postcard. I'll send her mail to her office at the hospital where she works. I'll send her a card just because, I love her. So little things like that. So there's a lot of things you could do. But here's what I did that after that conversation where she told me these things. And she was very, very concerned. And I was very concerned afterwards. These were not just light little suggestions of, hey, you know what? It would be nice if. No, no, no. I could tell that day that she was struggling, that she wasn't happy, and that I needed to change. And I remember going to bed that night and just crying out to the Lord, saying, God, show me what I can do differently. Show me, Lord, how to be the husband that I need to be, how to be the best husband I can be. Lord, give me the ideas that I need in order to give my wife what she's looking for. And I remember the next morning, I woke up early and I thought, you know what I'm going to do? And I had this plan in my mind, and I think it was for the Holy Spirit. So what I did is there was a bagel shop right across the street from where we live, or just, within walking distance. So I walked over there and I bought her a fresh bagel, the cream cheese, the whole, thing like that. I came home, I made coffee. And then I went out into the yard and I found a couple of roses in our garden, and I cut them and I put them in a little vase and I put it all on a tray, and I brought her breakfast in bed. And you want to know what she did? She cried when she saw that I listened. When she saw that I understood her concerns, when she saw that I wanted to respond in a way that not only told her I loved her, but demonstrated I loved her, and doing it in a way that would make her feel special, she cried because she knew I got it. And to this day, my goal is to make my wife feel special. Now, Ephesians 5:22 says, husbands, love your wives just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. So I think the best way to describe how to love your wife is obviously that sacrificial love, but it's also just make her feel special. So if there's a lesson out of this, I think there's a couple of things that I want to encourage you to walk away, your takeaways. But I would love to hear, by the way, your takeaways from this. So put them in the comments and let me know. But here's a couple of thoughts or suggestions I can make. First off, I am really, really glad my wife said something. I am glad Carrie spoke up and she's told me what was going on. So wives, speak up. Your husband isn't going to get it. He's not going to figure it out on his own. He's not going to pick up on your hints or your suggestions. Be direct. Let him know what you need. Let him know how you feel. I'm so glad my wife did. Why? Because then I could do something about it. She wasn't assuming that I was a mind reader. The other thing, husbands, is that I really think about what would have happened to my life and to our marriage if I'd have been defensive. If I'd have been dismissive to my wife's concerns, well, don't worry about it. You're fine. Everything's okay with us. We don't need help. I don't need to change anything. If I'd have basically just blown her off and ignored her. Well, I think maybe what have happened is that we would have continued down this path of unhappiness and not having her needs met, and me being unresponsive to her. And maybe, just maybe, she might have reached that point where she said, that's it. I've had enough. I want out. Yeah, it happens, guys. So I want to tell you, if your wife says she's not happy, that better cause you to have these red lights flashing inside your head saying, there's a problem here. I've got to do something about it. If your wife, by the way, says, I think we need to get help, don't blow her off. Don't dismiss it. Don't just say, we're fine. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I don't want to go to counseling. I don't want to get coaching. No, you better show up and get there with her. Why? Because she is crying out for help. She's saying to you that it's not working and we need to get some assistance here to help us figure this thing out. So if your wife says something to you, respond in a way that's going to meet her needs and her concerns. And once again, if you need some help, I would love to help you. So send me a direct message and I'll be glad to let you know how I do the marriage coaching that God has opened up for me. And I'm seeing some amazing results with the couples that I'm helping. That's my story. I'm glad I responded that way, following the leading of the Holy Spirit to do what my wife needed me to do, to respond in a way that she appreciated. And it hasn't all been roses and just amazing since then, and they lived happily ever after. We've had some more challenges and struggles, but you know what? That conversation 30 years ago changed our marriage. And I am glad and thankful that the Holy Spirit showed me what I needed to do. And I'm really glad my wife spoke up and let me know what she was feeling and experiencing. So I hope that encourages you. I hope you found it helpful. Would love to hear your comments in the comment below. And my website, by the way, is turnitup.coach. So check that out for other resources. You can book a call with me. You can get a copy of my book there. And or just send me a direct message and let me know how I can help you. God bless you guys. Have a great day. May God bless you and may God bless your marriage.